All right, that makes two prominent Republicans. First, Nikki Haley said that if Donald Trump runs for president, she will not. Now, Marco Rubio adding to that, this time saying that he saw that Donald Trump was running for president, he would opt out himself. In fact, he sees things as they stand now that 2024 would be Donald Trump's for the taking if he wanted to get the Republican nomination. Then where's all of this going? Let's go to Hal Lambert, the former Ted Cruz National Finance Chair, Point Bridge Capital founder and CEO, MAGA ETF creator, much more. We've also got George C. with us, Annandale Capital CEO. So these guys know their money, which is why I want to first go in at that angle. George, I ended with you. So let me begin about the role that financial types will play, handicapping and playing the 2024 presidential race. If it looks like Donald Trump intends to run and all these others will opt not to run, is he the guy you give money to?
Well, hi, Neil. I think it's kind of amazing we're talking about this over 3.5 years before the next election. And I also think it's right, kind of depressing watching all these other...
But you're right.
And I also think it's kind of depressing watching all these other candidates, the cast of thousands that want to run for president in 2024, running around frenetically trying to get attention. And I think it's weak. It's not a show of strength. And I think they need to go back to George W. Bush's playbook in 1998 and do their day jobs and wait for people to come to them first. I think people are starting way too early. And on the Donald Trump side, I have a personal opinion that when you're way past 70 years old, that you need to let the presidency go to a younger man or woman. And I think Joe Biden is proving my point right now. And so I hope the president declines to run in 2024 and lets the next generation take over.
What if he doesn't, Hal Lambert? I mean, I was thinking of the guy who used to work for Ted Cruz. Now, he is always on that short list of possible presidential candidates in 2024. Do you think he, too, would say, all right, Donald Trump's running, I'm not?
Well, I think he's going to be smart and wait to see where we are in a couple of years, because a lot of this depends on how the Biden administration is doing at that time. If they raise corporate tax rates way high and they raise the income tax on everybody and the economy is sputtering and not doing well and you don't have unemployment down to where it needs to be, I think there's a lot of people that are going to look at this race and want to challenge Joe Biden then. And so I think it really will depend on where Biden is. But look, right now, as it stands today, if former President Trump decided he was going to run for president, he'll be the nominee. I mean, I think I've talked to many, many Republicans, a number of which do not like President Trump, who also agree he would be the nominee. So I think that's where we stand. As far as contributions to him, that'll be interesting too. I think corporate America is going to be hesitant, but then again, that'll depend on how the economy is doing in a couple of years with Biden. If things are bad, I think people are going to go, hey, President Trump did it the first time. We want to give him another shot. It'll be up to him to decide if he wants to run or not. I think ultimately President Trump needs to decide sooner than he could. Meaning we don't want to string this along and have him decide right before basically the deadline to get on the ballot, and then it's too late for anybody else. So I think hopefully he'll come out right after the midterms and let everybody know where he stands so that people can prepare.
Do you think his real interest is in giving them enough time to run if he does not? I don't know, but Hal, I also look at this, and George, I'll take this up with you first, George. This notion that they're all inclined to stand back if he goes in. Well, there's a lot of other things besides age, which could be an issue. Southern District of New York is still looking into a lot of legal matters that could blow up, a year or more before these races even begin. Leaving that aside, do you see any Republicans, like Chris Christie comes to mind? I have a feeling that he would run regardless. Now, whether he would be a threat and an alternative to Donald Trump, I have no idea. But what do you make of that? That there are a stubborn few who might just say, I'm going to roll the dice on this. There's a large part of the segment of the Republican Party with the Mitt Romneys and the Liz Cheneys and some others who think that Donald Trump would be a bad idea. What do you think of that?
Well, I'm frankly kind of stunned that Nikki and Marco would unilaterally announce unprovoked that they won't run if he does in 2024. It's just so early. And I feel like these are unforced political errors. They're not quite malpractice, but they're pretty close to that. I look at the Rick Scotts and the Ron DeSantis's and the Mike Pompeos of the world. they're all being very cozying up to President Trump and being loyal to him, but they're not talking about this. They're out there working their brand and working super hard and staying silent and running deep on that subject. And I think that's a lot wiser, smarter way to go about your business.
The other two could be sucking up, though, right? I mean, Hal, there's a possibility. Look, I don't want to offend
That's what they're trying
Donald
to
Trump. I
do.
want to put it out there.
Yeah, I don't think that's super effective, though, at all.
I see. The other issue is it would be easier, I think, for Donald Trump to get the Republican nomination than to win the election. But you both pointed out a lot depends on how the economy's doing in 2024. If it is doing poorly, could Donald Trump, as the nominee, close the deal with all the baggage associated with him? Or do people see past that and say, well, say what you will the baggage of the January 6th protests and all the back and forth. The economy was good prior to the pandemic. Markets were good prior to the pandemic. Of course, the markets are doing just fine right now and continuing to do. But what do you think of that, Hal?
Well, I think, look, January 6th is still fresh on everybody's mind, and it was a terrible thing that happened. So I think right now it'd be tough. But again, 3 years from now, 3.5, 4 years from now, the time will have gone by. And if he is the nominee, President Trump's the nominee, I think that, and the economy is not doing well, and Biden isn't doing well, I think he has a real shot at winning again. So, no, I wouldn't discount his ability to win the presidency.
All right. George, the markets are doing quite well. The economy rebounding quite well. Do you think this continues? Are you a bull on this market and economy?
I am, Neil. I'm a bull. I think that the resurgence post-pandemic is going to be spectacular. I think it's going to be very good for our country. It's going to be something to celebrate. But I do think the Biden administration has put way too much sugar high on top of all that, and that the letdown or hangover after the sugar high wears off in about a year and a half is going to be telling as to whether we can continue to grow or whether we fall back in recession. But in the meantime, I think people should enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, I'm that way with sugar highs. Just get more sugar. Gentlemen, thank you
I agree.
very, very much. Dow up 274. We'll have more.